PianoLessons.com, the #1 name in piano lessons online.
Hi, I'm Nate Bosch with PianoLessons.com. Today I want to talk about how you can write a song on the piano. How do you write a song? What are the components of a song and what do you need to know? Well, first thing is you want to have a good understanding of chords and how they get together. So let's pick a key. I'm going to pick a real easy one, C. Here's the C major scale. Kind of gives us a groundwork of where we can build our chords from. Now, the three most popular chords in a lot of popular songs are the 1 chord, which is based on our root, the 4 chord, which is based on the 4th note of the scale, which is the F, and the 5 chord, which is based on the 5th note of the scale, G. Now, the G chord likes to push our ear back towards the root chord. So to end off a phrase, or to push you into the next section of a song, it's good to use the 5 chord there. Might be getting a little bit ahead of myself, but here's 3 basic chords. Now, how are we going to create a melody? Well, what we want to do is if there's a melody in your head and we want to get that into your fingers, well, now we know what kind of key we're in. We can use all of the notes in here for a basic song. We'll just use the notes of the scale. Now, we'll just start playing. I'm going to put the root in the left hand, and we're going to play, a C in the right hand. Let's just start by playing a couple of those. A nice way to go is up to the 4 chord, back down to the 1, to the 5, which wants to go back to the 1. We'll repeat that again. Now that's just playing around with those chords and seeing how they relate to each other. So have we written a song yet? Well, no, we've maybe written an idea. Now, what makes up a good song? Well, there's different types of songs, different types of ideas. In popular music, top 40, country, that kind of a thing, you usually have a verse, a chorus, and maybe a little bit of a change in the music somewhere called a bridge. Now, just for today, let's just use these 3 chords we played and write a little song here. So I'm just going to, here's what I'll do. Those are 3 chords. I'm going to add 1 more chord to that, an A minor. So I'm just going to play a little bit to see how these chords all work together. There's the 4 chord, the 5 chord, the 6 chord, which is the minor chord. So just play around with that, or maybe I'll start with the 1. Well, that sounds kind of neat. Now, go to the 4. Sort of ending a phrase here to get us back to, so there's that 5 chord, to the 1. So we can kind of move them around in different ways. So what do I do when I'm just going to sit down and write a song? Well, I kind of know how the chords relate to each other in a particular key. I start with, if I'm going to create a melody, just using the notes in that scale. So that's the basic idea. Now, I'm just going to pick a different key, and I'm going to go to E flat now. And I'm just going to, first thing that comes up, and I'm just going to start playing and seeing what happens. Now, some of these chords you might going, what is he doing? I'm just adding a little bit of flavor to each of those chords, but let's just see what happens. I'll start with an E flat, and we'll just go from there. So my main chords in E flat are going to be E flat. The 4 chord is an A flat. The 5 chord is a B flat. And then we've got the E flat again. So let's just see where this leads. Well, there's a different chord there. That's the 2 chord, which is a minor chord. There's the 1 chord, the 6 chord, now into that 2 chord, to the 5, and sort of repeated that again. I went to the 4 chord, the 1, and the 5. There's the basic chords, and what I might do then is play a little bit of a melody on the top, see what comes up. So just a little bit of a song there. Now, getting there was just by understanding the chords, how they relate to each other. You can start really basic like we did when we were playing in the key of C. And even just playing those chords together and getting that feel, you've already started to create a bit of a song. Once you're comfortable with that, you move them around a little bit more, change inversions, and your melody line, you can start to play around the other notes in the scale and see where that leads you. And there, a little bit of a few tips on how to write a song.